All right. Test. We should sound good. Glitching for a second. But we're live, man. We are live. We're back over here for a pregame show. Week 2 of the NFL. Ready to get this thing started, man. Shout out to BetUS. Make sure you use the promo code YouTube150 to get a 150% deposit match on your first 3 deposits. 150%, man. It's a better offer now. And again, you just got to use that promo code. But we are live over here. We'll take a look at some of those picks a little bit later in today's video or today's live stream. All right. Let's start with this. Let's just start here. Let me get this out of the way. So let me move my mic a little bit. I don't want to mess it up. Do we sound good? Do we sound good? I have a mic tester. I got a mic tester. So I can test if I sound crazy before I get on, because we've been having issues with that. But I think it's been helpful. I think it's been good. So I didn't have a preview video this week. I wanted to. I was like, time reasons. I was like, I'm gonna get this thing out Saturday. This will drop Saturday, and then that didn't happen. And so I was like, okay, bet I'm gonna do it Sunday morning. Sunday morning preview video. Yeah, so doing a video Sunday morning doesn't make any sense. I was like, I'm gonna do a live stream. We'll just do it all at once. And then I could not find my defensive notes. So I'm scrambling. I'm like, yo, where are my defensive notes? My Bucks tendencies, where are my things at here? I got the offense, couldn't find the defense. So this morning was pretty wild. I had to kind of go back through and try to redo a lot of my Bucks notes. Some of the stuff I just didn't get to, so that's going to be a little bit more scattered. But I had the clips saved that I wanted to show, the plays that I wanted to show, so we'll still show those plays. I came up with some notes for offense and defense, and then, of course, at the end, I'll give you guys my score prediction. But we're going to dive into this thing live, man. We're going to dive into this thing live just like it would be during a video. Before we get to that, though, I do want to show the injury report. And just like last week, we're also going to do our picks against the spread for the NFC North teams, not named Alliance. I mean, we're technically doing Alliance because I'm giving a prediction, but the other NFC North teams, we'll do predictions for those. I don't know how well we did last week. I should have checked. I don't even know. Chad, I don't even know how well we did last week, but I think we had like one right at least. I don't know. I'll tell you this. Hey, we 1-0 over there. You know what I'm saying? The Dolphins took that L. We 1-0 though. This is a good one. Last week was terrible. Last week I went 500 without the spread. All right, so this is much better. Okay, let me get the page pulled up. See who's in the chat. Motown Mitch is here. What up? What up, though? I see you. The truth is in the building. Rich Withers. Lions by 1,000,000. Okay, I see you, Rich. Everything King's in the building, my guy. He's saying the blitz. Charles, Dose is clear to play week 3. Come on, man. Look, bro, I've been cleared for days. They just didn't put it out there. You know what I mean? They just didn't put it out there on the injury report. We're trying to keep teams guessing. That's it. We're just trying to keep teams guessing. All right, I'm going to start there first, though, because, just for anybody that doesn't know, we'll have the inactives shortly. Actually, it's 10:30 right now. We'll have the inactives pretty soon. So we'll update those when we get them. But before we do that, I'll just show you guys what the injury report looks like right now. And then we'll go to the inactives when those things drop while we're talking about the preview of this game. I don't know how long this show is going to be. We'll see. We'll just adjust as it goes. But we'll start here first. Just a quick little update on the injury report. This is what we're looking at. Oh, my goodness. This is what we're looking at right here. Big one for the Lions. DJ Reader's in today. So debut of DJ Reader as a Lion. Fired up, dude. Hey, I'm fired up for that, man. I think everybody's fired up for that. Downside is I don't think Davenport's playing. He's doubtful. So they left the door open but didn't practice. So I don't know Davenport's playing. Positive about Davenport is that if he doesn't play, Pascal, I don't think we saw much of Pascal last week. Pascal, Levi, we got a lot of guys that can play out there. Just wish we could have seen Davenport again after last week. But DJ Ritter's playing. That's the positive. Let's focus on the positives. Isaiah Williams is out, so is Ife Melifonwu, but we have the big ones are really the questionables. It's Penei Sewell, which is massive because if he can't go, Dan Skipper will go. That's a huge difference. But he's like insisted, hey, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go this week. Jamison Williams has been limited practice all week, which makes me optimistic that he's gonna also play in this one. Lions elevated 2 receivers, but if Jamison Williams doesn't play, they'll only have 4 receivers. I believe only 4. You can make that work. It's a little bit late, though, so I'm pretty optimistic that Jamison's going to play because last week they brought up Tom Kennedy, and Isaiah Williams, I believe, was active last week. So I'm optimistic on Jamison Williams. Kirby Joseph, also questionable for this one. It sounds like he's going to go, though. Tim Patrick and then Tom Kennedy were elevated. So hopefully we get to see a little Tim Patrick. Hopefully just a little bit of Tim Patrick. If Tim Patrick plays, this is the game to play, man. Little over the middle of the field work possibly for Tim Patrick. A little run after the catch for Tim Patrick, the big body. I'm hoping he's playing. Well, I'm hoping he gets some snaps. He's elevated, but hopefully he gets some snaps. And then on the Bucs side, They actually got a really big one there with Luke Gadecki. Hopefully I spelled his name right. The right tackle. He's out for this game. That's a big one. He played in week 1 against Washington. He's one of their better offensive linemen. I think their offensive line strength is clearly offensive tackle. Luke Gadecki, especially as a run blocker, very good there. So, J-Mo is playing officially. Okay, bam. Look at that. We're good to go. But Luke Gadecki is out. Kalijah Cansey's out. Also played. Did he play last week? I can't remember when I was watching it back. I don't know. We'll see in the clips. I can't remember if he played last week. I know he played against us last season, at least in the playoff game. Kalijah Cansey's out. Josh Hayes is out, who's not actually listed on their depth chart. Pretty sure he would end up being an elevation, but he plays some cornerback for them. They'll be okay at cornerback. Tampa Bay is very flexible in the sense that they'll just put slot corners out wide. They'll mix it around. If Tyke Smith can go, that'll be huge. Zion McCollum, they'll still have Jamel Dean, so they'll be fine at cornerback without him. Just a little bit of depth there. Antoine Winfield's out. That's been the one that's gotten all the attention. The problem I see there is I really like Jordan Whitehead. They did not have last season. When we played them, he's the guy that's going to take the football away, right? Jordan Whitehead's a dog. I love me some Jordan Whitehead. So that's the big piece, I think, truly, more so than Antoine Winfield and what he brings to the table. I think it's about what Jordan Whitehead can bring. So we'll have to see how they replace that. And then Logan Hall. Logan Hall is interesting because he also played last week, but he'll also play into coverage. I list him as a defense tackle, but he's kind of a defensive end for him. And then, of course, the Zion McCollum and Tyke Smith ones. It sounds like both of them are going to play, but I don't know. So we'll see. Okay, Kalijah did play then. Okay. All right. So with that, let's dive into this, man. This is going to be weird because it's not going to be as perfectly set up as like a video would be where it's kind of back and forth. We're going to do a lot of bouncing here because the clips are also not really in order. So there's a lot of bouncing here. I'd like to see the Lions play Baki on defense. I don't know. I didn't put this in there. Lauren Strickland's available this week. So they do have the safety depth if they want Lauren Strickland to play. So just throw that in there. I think both J-Mo and 70 go over 70 today. Sup with Iffy. Look, man, I'm very interested in Amon-Ra St. Brown just because of matchup-wise. Like most games, it's a safe bet to say St. Brown's going to have a huge game. But this week specifically, if we see a lot of Jamel Dean with Jameson Williams, that matchup was hit and miss last year for us. It was good. It was bad. Obviously, he had kind of his like breakout moment on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But also, Jamel Dean did some work on him at times as well. But the St. Brown matchup's super intriguing to me because Tyke Smith could easily be starting in the nickel. And say they have a guy like McCollum missing and Isian plays out wide in this game. That's someone that the Lions didn't like exploit, but it's always a matchup I've liked. But Tyke Smith in the slot against St. Brown, I love that. Love him working on the rookie in this one. So to me, St. Brown could have a very positive matchup a lot in this game. We'll see how they address that, but it could be a really good bounce back spot for St. Brown. And look, the Lions got real creative last time trying to open up the middle of the field against this team. They played them much better the second time around offensively. Big part of that was they had a run game. Specifically, that was Jahmyr Gibbs. That opened up a lot of things for us. With that, though, we're gonna dive into this. I think we're just gonna show some notes, and then we'll go to the clips here, and then we'll just kind of bounce around as we go through this. So we're gonna start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense first. Let me get this thing pulled up on the screen. And again, at the end of this, we'll do our weekly picks as usual. That's why I went a little bit earlier today, so that we could kind of knock this out, and I could do my normal preview. It'll be much faster than the normal stuff is, just because we're live. And like I said, I lost my defensive notes before I went live, which stinks. So I kind of had to just tweak it, make it work. But we'll start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, what to watch for, those kind of things. So Tampa Bay, of course, has a game under their belt. They played Washington, and man, they were awesome last week, chat. They were awesome offensively last week. I was super impressed, just like real quick. Baker Mayfield off script was really good last week. They had a lot of big plays in the passing game, but specifically it was Baker Mayfield who had, I believe, the fastest time to throw last week as well. He's getting the ball out quickly. Their offense had a really good plan for schematically what Washington was going into by down. You could see that they just had straight answers for some things. And when they had the answer for the play call, they were getting guys wide open. They did that a few times. Some of their big plays were just wide open scheme beaters. Now, that being said, Washington found a nice little adjustment to one thing that they were trying to do, and they kind of slowed it down a little bit. And the Washington strategy, I think, could be different than what our strategy is. Last year, the way that we played Tampa was different than the way that Washington played Tampa last week. So I can see that being different. Also, I think our personnel at corner is undoubtedly better than what Washington was dealing with at cornerback. So I don't think it'll be the same situation, especially if we're playing man, where we'll have more confidence in what we can do in man coverage versus what Washington was able to do in man coverage. That got him into some real problems. So I trust our personnel a little bit more. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see if the Lions lean into that a little bit more. But we'll start with the rushing attack first. My man Bo's in the building. I'm ready to eat today. It'd be beautiful. This is a great game to do it. It's a good opportunity to do it. He's got a spot to do it. Why not? Can't let Evans beat us up like Cup last week. Double team that man. It's going to be hard to double team, and we'll get to that side, mainly because Chris Godwin is a man-to-man beater for them. Jalen McMillan has already become a huge part of that offense. Like, he was a go-to guy in a lot of spots for Tampa Bay. So it will be difficult to double Mike Evans. Plus, as soon as you go two deep safeties against Tampa Bay, that's when their run game comes to life, which is, if you don't know Tampa Bay, and I was like, hey, explain the way that Tampa Bay likes to play, I would say look at the Lions. Very similar. Not the same exact plays, not always the same schematically, but very similar in this is how we want to win a game. This is how we want to play in this game, and this is how we're going to be effective offensively. They play through the run game. They play through play action on the early downs. They're very protective about not getting in the third and long. That is a killer for their offense. They're going to be very protective about that in this game, which is the Lions' plan should be get them behind the chains because they try to stay out of those situations as much as possible. But yeah, if you remember Mike Evans, the last time he played this team playoffs, he really brought them back into the game right before halftime. Mike Evans, I assume we'll see a lot of Carlton Davis, which is a matchup that I'm fired up for. But as fired up as I am for that, Terrion Arnold, as Michael just threw out, versus Chris Godwin, to me, is going to be the concern. I assume they're going to go at Terrion Arnold a lot in this game in the passing attack. I think that's going to be a guy, especially if we're just sitting in man, that Tampa Bay's going to pick out and say, hey, we want to go at this guy. We want to go at Terrion. Because last week was not a great week for Terrion. Watching it back, it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either in coverage. A lot of times when he wasn't getting thrown to, he had some struggles. So I expect that they're going to go out there and say, look, we got Godwin. If we get that matchup, that's the guy we're going at. If they put Carlton over there on Mike Evans, that's where we're going to roll to. So will the Lions front seven hold the wall against Tampa Bay's rushing attack? I think that they will, but the challenge is how many players can you actually get into the box? And then the challenge off of that is what they do once you put an extra safety in the box or if you're leaving a run gap open. So here's the thing with this run game, man, and I put some stuff on the top here. Here's what they did specifically a lot in week one. We saw a little bit of the stretch run. They are an outside zone team first. That's where they like to live as an offense with their rushing attack. So, they're going to attack the B. They're going to attack the C gap. With that, the Lions, to me, on paper, are very capable of making it very difficult for them to have success on where those plays are designed to go. And we'll show some plays here, but when you look at what DJ Reader, Aleem McNeil, Pascal, those guys, they're going to have a lot of success on the play side where the play is designed to go, force a lot of cutback lanes. They did that last season. The key is simply you have to be very, very strong in your gap integrity against this team because Washington got into problems where they would lighten the box, throw a safety out deep, and big play. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers started to implement a lot of whams and trap plays where they were just shooting up to the linebackers. That got Washington into trouble as well. The Lions will want to put bodies in there to handle those responsibilities. But if you remember last season, one of the tweaks that Tampa Bay had for us is they started to use a lot of the run-pass option. And that was a problem that they gave us because they used a lot of RPOs, RPO slants. They put us in a lot of tough spots like that where it was like, hey, Brian Branch has a gap responsibility from the slot. This year it'll be Amik Robertson. And if he steps down to play the run, all of a sudden we're going to hit that RPO pass. Now, that's a lot of times would be on the backside of runs. So the game that they would put us in is Brian Branch steps down, they're going to throw it. If he doesn't step down, the cutback lane is key because that's where Rashad White eats. He's really good with the ball in his hands. He's really good at making guys miss. He's good on pass plays. You'll see that. But cutback lanes are massive here. I think it's a very strong chance the line's going to be really good at the point of attack. One, I think the weakness of Tampa Bay's offensive line is interior. Cody Mao is actually a really good run blocker, so let me point that out. You're going to see a lot of probably zone plays to the right going behind Cody Mao. Now, without Luke Gadecki, that's where you got to take advantage. That's where our defensive ends got to light those dudes up. They got to force the play backwards because Cody Mao's the guy that they're going to want to move behind. He's good as a zone blocker. He gets up to the second level well. He's fast. Left guard Ben Burdison, a little bit more shaky there for me. But if with Luke Gadecki out, that's the guy where you got to dominate that matchup one-on-one. So that's what they live behind, outside zone. That's kind of what they're built on. I think this is a huge game for linebackers. That doesn't mean they'll have a huge game. Last week we said Alex would have a big game. He had an insane game. Linebackers are going to be incredibly important this week, though, as we talked about the gap integrity, getting downhill. Also, this right here, and I'll show some plays. But you see where I put kick? that is something that Washington implemented, had some success. That's something that we implemented last year, had some success. A lot of times we do that off of we blitz our slot. Like I said, it was branch last year. Allows your defensive end to crash into the B gap, and you get to slant over gaps, and that creates negatives for an outside zone team. Now that can get you into trouble as well, again, the RPOs, things like that. But the Lions and Washington did this last week. You don't have to blitz to make that work. Washington found their success by kicking in their defensive ends. So on the play side, if your defensive end is outside of their tackle, he would jump inside of the tackle into the B gap. Linebacker would step down and he'd play the C gap, and that would put guys like Tristan Wirfs. Specifically, Tristan Wirfs had some problems with that, and they would create negatives. And as soon as Washington created negatives, they were in a spot that was completely different for the rest of the game. That's what changed the game for them, I think, defensively, and gave them some hope last week because, again, Tampa Bay wants to play like us. They're very cool with running outside zone on first down over and over. But also, and here's something, too, they may shake that up a little bit this week just because of what they saw from the last week. They're going to be very fine with doing that, and they also want to get shot plays on first down as well, of course, with their play action. So shot plays or run game. It's going to be one of those two. So creating negatives or not allowing a completion on first down is huge. If you look at what the Lions did last year against Tampa Bay, and again, we'll show some clips, the Lions ran a lot of quarters coverage on first down, and they would blitz out of it. So they would play 4 deep, which could be different because of our personnel. Maybe we didn't love our man-to-man ability. We'd play 4 deep, not give up the big play, but it also gave us the ability to play a little bit with closer depth to the line of scrimmage. That way we could still get run support because quarters or cover 4 can really help in run support. So that's kind of what the Lion solution was last year on early downs. Maybe comes in with the same strategy, maybe shakes it up, maybe goes like Washington and says, hey, we're gonna bring a blitz. We're gonna go cover 1 blitz. We're gonna get after you. We're gonna play man across the board, and we're gonna try to shake it up that way. Either way, same kind of idea on paper, it's just man or zone. Lions, I expect to do those same things, just like everything Keem pointed out, blitzing like that. Continuing on, the other little runs you have to watch for, and then we'll get off the run thing. And again, I'm going to show clips, so we'll bounce back and forth once I get off of this segment. But is specifically, it's a inside zone occasionally, not as often. It's less effective, but really this right here. It's that duo run play. That is where your guards and tackles on the strong side of the formation, a lot of times the right side for them, that is where those guys will double team, hard double teams at the point of attack, and they don't shoot to the second level. They just want to double team your defensive tackles and push them off their spot and run behind that for positive yards on first down. That's something that they started to do against Washington, and we know about their interior defensive line. That's what they're known for. That's where they started to move the ball on Washington, was they started going heavy dual run plays, double team blocks, push them off their spot. Now, against the Lions, on paper, we should be in a better spot to deal with this. Ali McNeil, DJ Reader is perfectly built to deal with this. The downside is that LA found some success with that same idea offensively. It wasn't the zone plays, it was the double teams that started to move us a little bit. And if you look at Tampa Bay, there's a real chance that if they go zone early, we're blitzing it, we're dealing with some of their stretch runs, we're bringing a slot blitz, we're creating negatives, that they say, look, we're going to double team, we're going to go forward. At that point, it'll be simply about how do those interior defensive line hold up? Because they're going to try to move us off our spot just like LA did. So that's the big thing there. But you'll see, like I said, you'll see some mixed stretch runs. You'll get some stretch runs in. The backside support, cutbacks are just crucial with this team. And the last thing I'll say about the run blocking before we get to clips is their receivers. Now, last week with LA, when we talked about their tight ends, we said, man, their tight ends in the run game, massive. This week, it's the receivers. It's Chris Godwin. It's Mike Evans. These guys are very good blockers. They have very good receiver blockers, specifically Chris Godwin. So you'll see a lot of screens. You'll see a lot of running back screens, and they'll let those guys lead the way. You'll see it in the run game where they'll step them down, and they'll let those guys go up to the linebackers. It's why their traps, it's why their whams work, because their whams or tight ends will pick up the defensive tackles, and on the trap plays, the receivers will step into the box and get up to the linebackers. So the receiver blocking is a big strength of this team. And as we always talk about, the Lions defensive backs run support is something that we like. So that's going to be like a head-to-head battle. I'm pretty fired up to see how that kind of all plays out. But again, if you're forced to go 2 deep safeties, they're going to wham trap you, and they're going to get up to the second level, and they're going to find success. They haven't been a great running team over like last year's sample size, but they want to do it. So we'll see if they can. All right. So with that, let's talk a little bit through the pass defense, and then I'll go to the clips just so it doesn't get too confusing. Let's start with the pass defense, a few of the notes that I had here. So, as I said, you want to force second and long. That's key. Run defense is what the Lions did last season, a lot of cover 4, those kind of things. RPO over slot run support, as I talked about, that was the situation they put us in. when you talk about pass protection, right? Luke Gadecki not being there, obviously something to keep in mind. Look at the right tackle. But I would specifically say the interiors where I think I have problems in pass protection specifically. You look at Ben Bredesen at left guard. I think he is the most inconsistent pass protector, especially from week one. Now, they were dealing with some dogs on that defensive line, but I think the interior is where they're weakest, truly, in terms of just handling business. Graham Barton is now at center. Was not perfect in week one either. He's smart, but he wasn't perfect in week one. I think the interior is clearly the weakest spot of this team in pass protection. Now, for the Lions, obviously blitzing linebackers, getting upfield from that second level right into the A gaps to B gaps. Blitzing linebackers is very possible. Makes a ton of sense against this team because also their running back doesn't pass protect that well either from what I've seen. I don't love their running back and pass pro. So I think if you're going to blitz, you want to get a field. Now, the Lions last year, again, they did a lot of it from the slot because you can stop some of those outside zones and stretch run plays. You can slant off it. So it just makes sense because it fits right in the scheme. But against this team, especially on obvious pass downs, I think you want to blitz them right in the middle of this defense. You want to go right in the middle of this defense, right in the middle of this offensive line. That's where they're least consistent in terms of just winning one-on-one. And that's also where we can have success without blitzing. Need a W today. I'm with you, Ed. We need a W today. So what should be the under for a sacky Baker be? 3-ish? Ooh, man, 3-ish is interesting. 3-ish is it because I do think this is a team you get sacks against, but I think it's just so dependent on how the game goes. That's a cop-out answer, it feels like, but like again, Baker got the ball faster than Stafford did last week. That being said, I think you get more sacks against Baker than you do against Stafford because of where you can get this game. So many play action deep sets. They can get all caught off guard with blitzes, because they're trying to go play action or trying to set things up, and the Lions bring somebody, and all of a sudden it's like you can't get the ball out. So I like 3. 3 is a good number, Ken. I think more than last week, not by a ton, but more than last week. And a big part of this as well, like every week, like I said, coming in, Tampa Bay was really smart last week, man. They had some beautiful answers for Baker in the pass game. Obviously, the Lions not allowing them to just have scheme beaters would be beneficial here, right? Just, they don't know exactly what's coming. They don't have their first guy wide open. That's going to be crucial. And again, it's simply why the Lions could just say, we're going to play a lot more man this year than we did last season. Staying with the pass game, though, those are the two guys I like to attack. Baker off schedule is a big threat. I know you don't think of him like that. We may not think of him like, some of these mobile guys. He's a big threat. Not even because of his legs, because usually in space, like you're going to make the stop on him. But it's more so just because when he takes off, he does a nice job of keeping his eyes downfield, and he makes everybody kind of come to life as soon as the play breaks down. We haven't had a huge issue with that with Baker, but it's something to watch for, is that if he extends the play, he becomes very dangerous, and he was really good last week at doing that same thing. Again, their offense can be focused on avoiding 3rd and long. That's what they're going to try to do. Here's the one little thing I'll point out before we get into the clips here. Great scheme awareness, as I talked about. They started to use the smash concept. Washington was saying, let's go cover 2. And as soon as they started to go cover 2, Washington was killing them with the smash concept, or Tampa was. And then Washington got out of it. They said, let's not go cover 2. Let's go Tampa 2. And they started to cover it up. And a couple of times in a row, they had a few wins. So you're going to see that early. They may have really good beaters early, and the Lions may have to tweak, just like every week. Tweak as the game goes on. Shift their coverage just a little bit to make sure that the plays that they want to get to are not there. Because that's one thing with Tampa is you got a really good sense of where they want to go with the football. And it's just like, can you stop it, basically? Like, if it's 3rd and long, they're going to want to run a deep post. They love to attack outside the numbers. They want Mike Evans on deep routes, especially against zone. Chris Godwin towards the sideline. They want to get outside the numbers. They want to limit congestion. They don't want to have interceptions. And if Baker lives over the middle of the field, he's due to throw a couple picks, as the truth just pointed out. He's going to throw some picks if he has to live over the middle of the field. However, they want to live outside the numbers. If it's 3rd and long, they want to go deep post, right? So they want to get fade routes, wheel routes. They want to get outside the numbers. So you have a sense of where they want to go. It's just tweaking to that, because coming out, they may have an answer for what we like, but as the game rolls on, it's tweaking your coverage to adjust to it, because one thing about Tampa is I didn't think they did a great job of adjusting as Washington started to tweak in certain spots what they were going into. So I don't know that they're the best at that, but they usually come in with a good plan. And then, like I said, in man coverage, Terran Arnold, I think, is going to be attacked today. If the Lions are playing man, if they're playing a lot of man, I think you're going to see a lot of Terran Arnold getting the ball thrown his direction just because he's young, and they're going to say Chris Godwin's a vet. He's going to eat him up. We're going to go at that guy. And, of course, Rashad White, playmaker-wise, he's the dude to watch for. He's the key player because they run so many screens. Anytime it's 2nd and medium, there's like a 50-50 shot they're throwing a running back screen. Like, it's literally that much. They're probably throwing a running back screen. So he's going to be crucial because of how much he does after the catch, how valuable he is there. He's really good with the ball in his hands. Rashad White had a great opening week. I think he kind of, like, even for me, Rashad White has gotten a lot of talk over time. But last week was like, Rachaad White's doing some work. I see you, Rashad. So that's the offense. That's a couple of the key things to watch for today. Again, I put less notes on the offense. Defense could be a little more scattered here. But now let's jump into some clips, and we'll go through these clips, and then we'll kind of shift back, and we'll flip to the other side. We'll go on to the defensive side of the ball, or, we'll go to the Bucs defensive side of the ball. We'll go to that next. Arnold played 2 years of safety. Maybe we'll see something different. Yeah, I'd be surprised if he played safety. At least this year, I'd be surprised if he did any of that for the Lions. I think they need him at cornerback, but all right, let's so here we go. But it's something to keep an eye on, I guess. Especially if injuries, you get injuries, those kind of things. Again, it's great having Strickland back because it definitely gives us some depth. So we were looking at the Bucs offense, right? Yeah, we were looking at the Bucs offense. All right, let me skip ahead a little bit. We'll go to the Bucs offense here. I think this is where we get to it. And now, again, these are kind of all over the place, but all these plays, I believe, have some value to what you're going to see today and what you should be expecting from what this offense is going to look like. So we'll start off with, we're getting right to it here. So as I talked about, trap run plays, wham run plays. If you don't know what those are, they're one of my favorite runs. I love the whams, which is basically your offensive lineman. He'll not block his defensive tackle. He'll jump up to the second level and block a linebacker. And you'll ask a guy, like in this case, your tight end, to step down. He'll pick up the defensive tackle, and you're trying to just shoot forward into that second level. And again, a lot of times they would do this with a lighter box. So here, as you can see, they got 7 in the box. They're going a little bit heavier here, but they do this with lighter box where maybe every gap couldn't be contained. Here, every gap should be contained. It should be defensively. They should be fine here. But you can see right here, they get right into it with this wham block. And then again, as I talked about, receivers blocking right here, right? This is something to watch for because as much as you have the gaps, if you look at it, right, they have the gaps accounted for. The issue is that you have a defensive back stepping in the box, and you have a wide receiver stepping down and pick it, like right here, boom, picks him up. Now, bang, you get a big run off of that. That's how they started to open up big runs against that team. What up, Josh? I see you, Josh. Been a while. It has been. Yet finally, here we are. Hey, man, shout out to everybody in the building right now. Shout out to Buck Nation. Welcome to the bakery. Okay. Welcome to the bakery. I see you. Hey, Buck Nation, man. You're in here, man. Tell us what we should be looking out for today. Because right now we're watching your team. No, this is facts. This is facts. Joe Schmidt. I saw that. What was he, 92? Rest in peace, Joe Schmidt. That was, look, I obviously didn't see him play or anything like that. But, just reading up on the impact that he had with the Lions was massive. So, yes, man. Rest in peace, Joe Schmidt, for sure. Okay, we'll stay on the offensive side here. So, again, this is what Tampa Bay does well. Tampa Bay comes out with a good plan, and they're going to find ways to attack the coverage that they know that you want to sit in. So here, right, Washington goes into a cover 3 look, and this is why the ball was getting out so fast. So watch Mike Evans. He's going to run this corner route. It's kind of like a sail setup. He's going to go vertical here, and that's where your beater is going to come into play right here. Right, they have the underneath route, which a lot of times Godwin's going to run like a whip route. This is the play you got to watch for off schedule because when Baker gets out of pressure, he's going to try to check it down to Godwin. But it's a simple beater. It's a spot. Pull him out of the play, open up a good, huge window, and you get a big shot play. And that's why he was getting the ball out so fast. White on that screen. Hey, Bug Nation, facts. Hey, chat, Bug Nation, I don't know if you were in here when we said it. About 50% of the time on second and medium, it's probably going to be a screen to Rachaad White. So if y'all don't believe me, believe my man Buck Nation. That's absolutely facts. And yeah, bro, McMillian surprised me. McMillian or McMillian? I can't remember. I don't know. The Washington receiver. He surprised me how impactful he actually was week 1. I didn't expect to see him get the ball that many times. It wasn't perfect, right? There was a nice pass breakup on one time on a little slant, kind of a high-low thing. But it was pretty awesome to see how quickly he was involved because we don't get that immediately with a lot of receivers, especially if they're not like a first-round pick. So here, outside zone. So this is what I was talking about. I was talking about the kick, right? So here we go. Watch this. You see the kick right here? So your defensive end jumps inside it. So right here, he's got the C gap, right? But watch on the snap how he kicks inside. He's going to kick inside worse right here. Bam, there's the kick. Now you got to fill outside of it. And then linebackers are crucial. Why are linebackers crucial? Pursuit to ball, backside pursuit. You got to have that from your defensive tackles as well because, again, a lot of cutback lanes. So all these guys got to be on one. And then, of course, the scrape speed. I thought that, Bobby Wagner didn't have the best day. I thought Tampa Bay, we'll get to this, didn't think they were great in terms of just speed at linebacker scraping and things like that all the time. But for us, it's going to be crucial because like this, we have to be able to fill those gaps in. Now, of course, you kick inside there, you make the play. What channel can I stream the game on today? I don't see it showing on Sling TV. So I'm assuming it's on Fox. I don't know how that works, though. If it's I don't know how that works though, depending like if you're not local, because I assume Fox is like a local station. So I don't know where you live, Vincent, but it should be on Fox depending on where you live. I assume it's on Fox. Chat, let him know. I actually don't. I haven't looked yet, to be honest with you. Okay, same kind of thing here. Now this is a little bit different because it's not just straight kick. You're actually just bringing a blitz off the edge. But this is what the Lions did last year, so I show it just to kind of give you guys a sense of what you may see again. If they bring a DB on a blitz like this, it allows them to kind of slant gaps, fill it. Fox in Northern Michigan. What up, though, D-Ray? I see you, D-Ray. How you doing, man? All right, staying on the defense. So this is the adjustment. This is what I really liked from Washington, is they started going, instead of straight cover 2, they started going Tampa 2. Now, here's where the overlap is with the Lions. It's not just them running it. If you look at what the Lions did last season, whenever they got them into 3rd and long, they basically, I think they played the same coverage every time. I could be wrong, though, because, again, I lost my notes this morning. But it was Tampa 2 invert. So basically just Tampa 2 coverage, right? 2 deep safeties, and you would have a deep middle player, like in this case it was their safety, and they would invert that. That's what the Lions did pretty much every 3rd and long, and it was their answer. It was like, hey, check it down, that's fine. Here's the issue. It's like my man just pointed out, with Rachaad White on the screens, the receiver screens, they actually picked up a first down to like a 3rd and 20 in this game, running a screen when Washington was backed up because nobody got to the football. They can still have success, but that's what the Lions like to do. Here's why it worked, because when they went Tampa 2, they were able to easier get out to this flat. They were able to take away the smash concept, and their cornerback was able to play with a lot more depth. This same concept was ran about 3 or 4 times by Tampa Bay in this game. But then Baker Mayfield off script stays alive, keeps the play alive. He's going to be huge in this game for that. I haven't seen that burn us yet, really, but it's in. He's capable of doing it. We got to look out for Vita Vea. So here's my takeaway, right? Vita Vea, I didn't think was incredibly impactful week 1 as a pass rusher. Now, he's definitely capable of getting an edge, and if there's a guy that's just going to move the pocket slowly back, yes. And this is facts because Jared Goff, of course, if he has pressure in his face, that's the biggest issue. So, absolutely, 100%. Positive is we feel pretty good about our interior offensive line. You're still going to see a lot of games. You're still going to see a lot of linebackers getting downhill against this team, so you'll get some of that. And Tampa Bay is a very heavy blitzing team, and they didn't let off. Last season, they had the 3rd highest blitz rate in the league. This season, week 1, 3rd highest blitz rate in the league. The only difference was they went from a team that was bottom half in pressure rate out of that to being a top half team in pressure rate in week 1 against Washington. Some of that's Washington. But point is that's what they want to do. They want to get after. They're going to throw a lot of bodies. They do a lot of zone blitzing. The biggest guy to actually key on, I think Charles is in here. This was his guy, I think. Yaya Diaby is the guy to key on in this game because he was, to me, by far their best pass rusher. And last time we faced Tampa Bay, Yaya Diaby got a lot of one-on-ones. We were very good in slide protection, which I expect the Lions to do again for Vita Vea, those guys. Slide protection, try to move the pocket rather than just playing standstill here. But the issue with that is you get one-on-ones on the edge. And to me, the one-on-ones, Yaya Diaby showed that, like, yo, he's gonna beat guys up there. And last year, it wasn't the same threat. I think he's gotten a lot better. Yes, sir, Charles. He looked like he was a lot better in week 1. He looked pretty frightening. I mean, he was all over the place. Yaya Diaby was clearly their best player on the front last week to me. He's the guy to watch for in this game, especially without Kalijah Cansey. He's the guy to watch for because if he gets one-on-ones, Taylor Decker, those guys, we'll get the players to watch, but he is the guy in this game as a pass rusher, and that's what you got to keep an eye on. This is where I see them going at Terrion, right here. So this play, it has a lot of kind of build-up here. Here's why. All right, so again, you get the motion. Baker Mayfield makes his check. Get the man coverage look here. And the immediate one-on-one beater is, again, outside the numbers, a lot of out routes. That's what they want to do. They want to kind of, they want to stay away from the middle of the field a little bit. And they're going to go here because, again, it simplifies things. And they're going to go this out route with Godwin, and he's just simply going to win one-on-one. When they needed someone to win one-on-one, a lot of times it was him. That's where the ball was going, was Chris Godwin. So I'm curious to see that matchup, especially if we're playing a lot more man. Goff is growing great throwing teeth in the play. He was really good last year. He's really good last year. By the time we played him the second time, he was awesome. I hope we get that same Goff in week 2. I know it's early in the season. Last year when we played him, it was like, this is Goff with a ton of reps. Like, he's very comfortable in this offense. If we get that, we're going to be in good shape. He was really good the second time around. Yes, sir. Hey, shout out to King Tony. I didn't see there was no T in that. I see you, King Tony. Let's continue, though. We'll just keep rolling through some of these offense plays, show some different things that they're going to do to us. As I touched on, it's 3rd and long. What do they want to do? Again, outside the numbers, but the rookie was very involved here. And, here you get one-on-ones on the outside. Again, you can simplify it. Baker Mayfield is very willing to let that thing go. You see the safety take Chris Godwin on this deep post. So you get two deep posts here. There's a defensive pass interference. There's the shot play. It's still a first down to play. And again, this is why the ball is getting out so fast, is because of what they were doing coverage-wise. They were finding beaters, and they specifically came out with really good beaters to coverage. So here, it looks like they're going into a little bit of a cover 3 look. Safety rolls down on the play, and you're going to see right here is where the confusion causes. Watch this route that's ran here by the slot. Watch this route. I think this is McMillan too. Watch the route here. So as he wraps it around the defense, right, and you get kind of the confusion because you have the sit-down route. They're not sure who has who, so he gets up vertical. This guy's thinking, okay, he's breaking. Watch this. It looks like he's breaking back inside. You're thinking, okay, maybe he's getting to the safety. Watch him break in and then back out. He gives you that post corner look. So instead of being able to just pass it off to your deep middle player, he gives you the post corner, breaks it back out. Now you don't have any help outside. He's wide open. And if you look at Baker, he's throwing this pass before he even frems out of the break here. He knows immediately right here, I got it. He's got right here. He's got it because he knows he's getting back outside. And this guy has not dropped out on the play because of the little confusion they create underneath. And it's a walk-in touchdown. So that's what they do well. They do things like that really well. Back to the run game. Show some different looks because we showed a trap play. Here again, here's a wham play. So again, we showed a wham play. Here's a trap play. Similar kind of deal. This time the offensive lineman's just going to take the D lineman, shoot up to the second level, and bam, there's where you get your big play. Rashad White big play. That's where they pop runs, right? That's where they're going to pop run. Here's another one. I think this was one of their bigger runs of the game. This next play right here. Bang. Same kind of thing, right? Trap. Tight end goes down, or wham, tight end goes down. Break the big play for Rashad White. That's where they get their big plays. Will the NFL Plus app play it? Maybe. I don't know how that works. I know it was for preseason, but I don't know if it is. I don't know, but I would try it. I would definitely try it if you have it. Here we go. Running back screen, as we talked about. This is what makes them dangerous. Again, and they're fine with letting the receivers block. Look at the receivers on this play, by the way. Like, I'm not just saying. Watch the receivers block here. They are perfectly fine with letting those guys lead the way. So if you're just talking about one-on-one, bro, you got to be able to handle those, right? Our DBs got to make plays against the run. I thought our guys tackled well, but Terrion, for example, like guys weren't always completely alert that the ball was coming their direction. That can't be the case this week. And then again, some of the more power running football, duo play, strong side, strong. Well, actually, I don't think this one became a duo. But anyways, you're getting kind of just a dive here, dive left. But a little bit of inside zone mixed in. Again, they're going to use the receivers to step down and block. We're almost done with this side. Then we'll flip to the other side. And then when you get to red zone, obviously the big threat as soon as they get inside of 20 is this guy. It's Mike Evans. One-on-one, they're going to throw it to him. Man coverage, again, here's how you know that Tampa Bay is really good schematically with just figuring out like what you want to do and having complete beaters for it. And they're going to lean into those beaters. So if you get them caught off guard with like, this is the coverage, they weren't expecting this, you can get them in the messy situations. And that's where Baker will throw interceptions. That's where things get messy. So to simplify things for Tampa Bay, get outside the numbers, right? Because it's very difficult to double team things once you get outside the numbers. A lot of times it's just singled up one-on-one. So it doesn't create havoc or confusion for Baker. He's just able to look at it and say, okay, there's my one-on-one. That's where the ball's going, right? Safety's here. Okay, it's going outside the numbers. So you want him to live at 20 numbers. He probably won't. They're going to try to simplify things. So obviously red zone, it's Mike Evans. And then if you go man coverage, they do a lot of rub routes, a lot of pick routes. We saw it last year was a 3rd and 4. They try to pick our Alex Anzalone. They got called for an offensive pass interference. Hey, maybe make the referees aware that that's what they like to do before the game, just so they know. Jack Campbell's going to be huge in this one. Every zone drop. I thought he was really good against Tampa just for getting really good depth for us. He's going to be huge, but this is where everything King came in here and he said blitz, right? This is where the Lions got creative. It wasn't man blitzing, it was zone blitzing. Here you bring the slot. If he rolls over at the snap, okay, he blitzes here. They drop out on the backside, and then all of a sudden you get a free rusher on the edge. That's where you get the sack. Again, Baker doesn't see it. You give it a sack there. That's where the Lions were having success, is they were blitzing out of zone look specifically, and then here's where they started to wrinkle that RPO in, which they didn't do, I didn't think, against anybody else but us. They're like, oh, this works, let's do this again. And this is where they caught. So is like, hey, Brian Branch, right? Look at how the Lions. This is why I'm saying, and my man here said, if we can run, watch out, that kind of thing. If you look at Tampa Bay, the Lions are going to be very gap responsible, right? So here, one deep safety, well, actually got 2 deep safeties. They're going to be very gap responsible, though, because they want to protect over top. So last year they played quarters, which means that you have to have 2 deep safeties. So if you're not playing just straight one-on-one cover 1, which is what Washington tried to do on first down, was play cover 1 blitz, because then they had an extra body to play the run, is that then you get in the dangerous spot of everybody's playing one-on-one. So Baker gets it out. It's Godwin versus your corner. It's Evans versus your corner. And a lot of times they're like, we can win that. So if the Lions think they can simplify to win that, great. But if not, and you want to play 2 deep, especially on early downs, here was one of the little wrinkles they threw at us. You want to play 2 deep safeties, great. Your run gap responsibility down here is Brian Branch. Brian Branch is now responsible for a run gap here, right? Because you got your B, you got your A. So everybody, you want to be all gap responsible because, again, that's what they're going to attack. So what they did was they used the run fake to pull Brian Branch into his run fit. That way they could get behind it. Now, Kirby still bid on a play like this. He still bid downhill on the little quick fake, I think because they were going cover 3 at the snap. And then they hit us with this play right behind him. That's something they did against us a lot, and they had real success against it. So, and then we had to adjust. We had to get our linebacker into that zone, and we had to be a little bit careful with our run fits not to just give that up. All right, and then there's Jameson Williams pass broken up there. All right, let's flip to the other side of the ball. Let's flip to the other side of the ball because Tampa Bay's offense, I think there's a lot of similarities, like I said, just to what we do offensively. They want to do a lot of similar things. They have a lot of the similar mindset of how it's going to work. It's just really in a lot of spots, how do you win? How do you play on first down? Those kind of things. So we'll flip it over. This is the Bucs defense. Okay, wow. Why is this fitting like this? I don't know what's going on here. This looks weird, but it's okay. It's fine. Why is it showing the whole? Wait, hold up, Chad. Let me reshare this. That looks so weird. Okay, now I got it. No, I don't got it. I don't know what's going on. All right, anyways, Bucs defense. Let's go. I don't know why it's showing everything. Let's go through it here. So this one's a little more scattered, but it'll still make sense. Okay, I'll skip through some things. I'll fly through this. So defensively speaking, we got some of the personnel stuff at the top. As I said, Vita Vea can get an edge, pressure piece. Here's a positive, though, Vita Vea. Run blocking wise, on paper, the outside zone stuff, you can reach block Vita Vea. So if he's in one technique, you can get over top. Frank Ragnow was awesome in that area last week. The issue is it's hard to move him and reach block. That's really not going to happen, but you can get on top of your blocks against this guy. So this is someone that watch for him in the pass game, of course, because he can push the pocket. And the run game, he's their difference maker. But you can have success against him. That's the positive there. How many snaps Tim Patrick's going to play? Is he going to be a decoy? I assume Tim Patrick's going to play, man. I mean, if he's ready to go and he's elevated like Tom Kennedy, I would have him on the field over Tom Kennedy because I think he just brings a much bigger threat. Run after catch, more route tree versatility, and obviously size. And Tom Kennedy sells snaps. I'll give him 10. I'll set him at 10. That 10 feels high. Let's go 8. Let's go 8 there. But the positive about this run defense is that there's a lot of guys that the Lions, I think, can attack. So Vita Vea kind of starts it all. And that's why when we played without Jahmyr Gibbs the first time around, we had zero run game. We had absolutely no run game. They shut it down. That was in Tampa. When Gibbs came back, it was like, oh, we have a run game. Now, Monty still had some success in that too. But the thing is with this defensive front is outside of Vita Vea, I think there's a lot of guys you can go at. You can go at Golston with double teams. You can go at Greg Gaines. You can go at Brewer, who's their backup nose tackle whenever he's in the game. You can go at a lot of these guys. It's just Vita Vea kind of creates all the havoc in the inside, so they spill everything outside because of him. We'll see how that works this week. But I like our personnel for that. But of course, if we're gonna go a little more power football, you go behind Zeitler, you go behind Penei Sewell, you go behind those guys. Maybe create some double teams there. You want to go outside zone, get wide. Jahmyr Gibbs. Obviously, you can go behind Taylor Decker, those kind of things. We'll see what they come in with the plan. We'll get to that in a second. Staying on the run side of things, trap runs are interesting. We don't do that a ton, but it's interesting. I said you can reach block him here. We're gonna show this play. This counter pull. So this was one of the big plays we had last year. You guys may remember it, where we basically pulled Penei Sewell from right tackle. We set up a counter pull play, and we unblocked the edge rush. We didn't even block him. We let him get downhill, and then we spilled outside of him and picked up a huge run. We'll show that play. It was a great play. Something like that. Maybe on tap again in this game that they do something similar to this one. The linebacker, to me, a little bit slow to scrape, so you're going to get hit and miss results. What they do well is they tackle well between the tackles. They got some big body line. They got some throwback-looking linebackers. Levante David and Britt at linebacker are some throwback type of linebackers, bro. They are powerful as heck. But that being said, and they can tackle between tackles. But that being said, I think they scrape a lot of time. They slow at times. The counter stuff can get them into trouble. And if you can get wide, I think at times, especially up the backside, they can be slow to get out there. And you could potentially hit gaps that if you can reach block on a guy like Vea, you can actually push yourself forward. I like the Lions' run game in this one. Typically, I wouldn't. I just like it based on what I've seen. Not on the numbers, just what I've seen. I think we're going to have a run game. If we do that, it's going to change everything for us. Into the passing attack, as I talked about, they blitz a ton. That's just what to expect. Slide protection was crucial for us last time. Expect that to be a big part of the game again. Diaby was their best pressure piece. Outside of that, didn't buy into the ability to get a lot of pressure. If Vita Vea is pushing the pocket, that'll shake everything up here. But I'll say this. I don't have really many concerns about their ability to get after us in pressure. The only way I have concerns is if they're blitzing and they unblock guys, which they did at times because they'll blitz slots and then they'll drop out defensive tackles and you got to go behind them. That's the only concern for me. In terms of just like losing personnel-wise, I don't really have many concerns about our pass protection, especially for sliding properly. We're getting to the right slide protection based on their front. I don't really have many concerns about us handling business one-on-one. I don't think they have many beaters on that defensive front for us. I'm not concerned about it. It's just, do they get unblocked guys, yes or no? That's going to be their key in this one. Because they're going to blitz so much, they're probably going to lean into that, because if I believe that, they may believe the same thing. I don't know. I just don't think they're going to get much pressure on us in this game without the blitzing. I don't see it happening. No Winfield. We touched on that. All right, now going into some of the coverage looks here. I'm going to just kind of let this sit and just go directly into the plays, because I think it'll make more sense if I start showing plays rather than trying to explain just the different coverages they run. Again, because I don't have the notes there for it, some of it's a little bit lost on the tendency thing. So let's just get right into some of these plays. Gibbs led the league 20-yard runs last year. Ooh, okay, I didn't know that. He led it as a rookie. Okay, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Now, we need some of those explosives here today. It'd be great. And by the way, I didn't point this out. In the passing game, if you guys remember, as much as Jahmyr Gibbs got going in the run game for us last year, and he kind of brought that to life, in the passing game, we started to see a little bit of like, oh, hey, Jahmyr Gibbs is doing more than just like pass. And if you remember, running back pass protection is going to be crucial because of all that blitzing. They like to bring their linebackers. They'll bring Levante. They'll bring Britt. Servassier Dennis will go out there on pass downs, so he'll play in coverage. He doesn't blitz much. But they'll drop out Logan Hall. They'll drop out Diaby. They'll drop out their edge rushers and bring their backers, which puts stress, of course, on your running backs and pass pro. Positive is Jahmyr Gibbs was really good in pass pro last time he played this team. But also, I would like to see the Lions utilize him in the pass game in this one because it's going to be there. One of the positives of last week and some of the missed passes that we had, like Dave Montgomery was open here or tight end was open here, is that this team similarly will give up a lot of the same routes. They'll give up the checkdowns. They'll give up the chip flats. It's difficult for them to carry running backs out of the flat because a lot of times they don't carry running backs out of the flat, so they'll just give those routes up. And then, if you remember last season, the first time we played Tampa, it was Laporta against Levante David. David won that matchup. Second time around, we had more success. If you look at this game and you look at their backers, I don't trust their ability to pass off coverage with any kind of speed. You can simply just get them on crossing routes. There's a lot of things the Lions can carry over to from last week into this week that can have success in a passing attack, but player-wise, love to see them utilize Jahmyr Gibbs a little bit more, just like they did last season when he kind of broke it open, because, again, I don't think they have a great matchup for that on paper. And you'll see that with a lot of these clips, how much space they will give to the running backs on the flats, those kind of things. So just showing some different coverage looks here from Tampa Bay. That would be one of their cover 2 looks here. We'll show some different looks here. I'm not sure why that plays in here twice. Don't know about that one. That's okay, though. It takes up a little more time, I guess. All right. And this is the thing they will do. So if they go zero coverage, they're going to give up chip flats. They'll give you sometimes the easy routes. Boom, boom. They'll give it to you. This time they get it down here. This is actually one of the biggest plays of the game that they had. Safeties and slots will pass off. They do a lot of this matching thing where they're going to pass off vertical routes to the safety, as we saw. So because of that, you're going to have a lot of between potential. So it's going to put an emphasis on, if this guy carries it, he's going to leave something else open. If he doesn't and he drops it off, you're going to have a gap between the safety and that receiver that he passed off to sit down. Overball routes, hitch routes, come back to the ball, those kind of things. And plus, you're going to get that matchup with the safety if you want it. But this is the kind of thing that they will let up. They will give you these things underneath. I appreciate you, Phil. Shout out to John in the building. John says 12 personnel brings Hesse in. It did a few times last week. I do like Parker Hesse, man. It got him in a few times last week. A little bit of Brock Wright, too. We mixed him in a little bit to that role, too. Okay, now over to the run game. And this wasn't even that beautiful, but I think the Lions can have success running the ball against team. Obviously, Vea is the key, and he'll run some different fronts. Here he's in a 2 technique, so he can 2-gap out of these looks just like that, play both gaps, and that's a problem. It's not always great to run towards that guy. But if you stay away from him, right, and you run towards pretty much anybody else, I like our matchup. Here we are, 92. Is that Golston? I think that's Golston. I think that's William Golston. Right here, you get up to Levante David at the second level. Your tight end picks up that block again. They don't scrape extremely fast. Wide receiver gets that pin down block. You get a nice gain. They actually scored a touchdown on that play. Really, anybody outside of Vea, I like it. And even if you do go to Vea, you just got to get around him, kind of. You just got to reach around him. Here, Jamel Dean. They don't give up this big play, but you see him on the top of the screen here. This isn't a double move. He just got ran by on the play. All right, this is not a double move by your receiver here on Jamel Dean. But what you do get is a similar coverage to what we ran last week. So a lot of moving pieces. Here they're going to go into this inverted cover 2. So safety's going to roll. He's going to play flat. This becomes your safety. Because he becomes a safety and they're going to drop out into a flat, I think here. They should have, yep, there's their flat defender. Because of that, he starts to play in a weird kind of technique. He starts to pedal on the play, and he gets burned over top. change of pace. If there is one thing against Jamel Dean, he's incredibly physical, right? We know that with Dean. That's going to be the challenge. It's why he had that pass breakup we showed at the end on Jameson Williams, because he's physical. He can get in your chest. He can body you up. But Jamel Dean, where he's going to struggle is top of the route, change of direction, gives up some ground. Obviously, you see the transition there, vertical speed, can give up some ground. So a guy like Jameson can be effective by just giving him the threat of I can go vertical here and then trying to work back to the ball underneath that. Dean will want to get physical and get his hands on him and slow him down. That'll be how he wants to play this. We may also see a lot of Jameson Williams on Zion McCollum. That may be a mix-up that we see in this one. This guy's not playing in this game, so, don't really worry about that one. He's not playing in this one. I'll let this one roll. I don't need to go into that one. That was before I knew how the injury report was going to shake out. Running back tight ends pick up blitzes. They're going to be big there. They're going to be really big there. Or it's going to be the flip side of get the ball to those guys. If you guys remember last year we played this team, the second play of the game, they went zero coverage against us. We just flipped it out to Dave Montgomery. He had 7 yards on second down and 10 because he simply just ran a little flat route, and Goff saw it, and he just got the ball out. And if he makes one guy miss, he scores a touchdown. Second and long, they did that on. First and 10, may drop a little bit more into coverage, maybe go straight coverage drops, and they're going to try to kind of squeeze the middle of the field with the hitches and curls. They're going to try to make everything tight, and they're really good at getting their hands on the football, but their issue is passing off routes and crossing routes with speed. That's where they struggle and they lose ground. So again, a lot of things like with JMO that you had last week that worked, you could carry over this week. Tim Patrick, drags, crossers, really good after the catch. He's kind of the same, built the same way to have the same success against the same type of defense. Does the same thing well. All right, here, so I put traps in the thing. We don't do a ton of this, but we got it here from Washington. They decided to do it on the play. Get upfield, get up to these linebackers. Again, you can definitely do that. This is a good tackle by David. Gets off his block well. But you can definitely get up to those guys. What up, Silver Surfer? How you doing, man? Like I said, I want to go at these linebackers, man. One thing we saw last year was a lot of kind of the inside-outside where, like, cover 3, Tampa Bay would go into like this, or maybe not like this, but when they would go into cover 3, you get the outs and you get the in routes underneath. I love the out routes because you could get outside, make those linebackers chase. I don't think they love doing that. I think they struggle there. And even here on an in-breaking route, you could see that he just wasn't able to close the kind of ground there. Levante David just wasn't able to close the ground. Levante David's a good player. Just wasn't able to close the ground here in that transition with the tight end, so he ends up giving up a reception. That's something the Lions can go at in this one matchup-wise. Back to the run game. You find a little success here if you're Washington. Again, they don't have a great O-line, but they've worked on it. A little bit of success here. And you can see it's just at the point of attack right here, one-on-one block. I think this is Brewer on the play, who's their backup nose tackle. You can see one-on-one of the play, trying to handle a couple gaps here. Let me see where he's at. I think he might be in the 2. Yeah. Trying to handle a couple gaps here, and you can see that they're just able to handle it enough. He's able to get up second level. Again, when the linebackers get hands on you, they're going to tackle you. But this is where they struggle. They're going to pass off routes. They're going to try to congest the middle of the field. But the issue is that even though they can close these routes, so like let's say he ran an over route and he just sat here, these linebackers will close that and they'll make it really difficult. First play of the game last year, we tried to hit a little hitch to Sam Laporta. They closed it. Goff had to just throw it away on the first play of the game. They're going to do things like this because they have different blitzing pieces. They'll blitz outside, blitz inside. You don't know who's going to drop. They're cool with doing it. Their defense tackles as well. But this is where they'll struggle, is dealing with crossing routes, things just running in front of their face. I just don't think they transition fast enough to get out there and actually run with those guys. That's going to be a problem, and I think the Lions could just grab some stuff they did from last week and just utilize it this week and have success there. Staying in the passing attack, like I said, Servastier Dennis was called for a DPI here, but it's kind of just the concept that I like here, right? Cover 3 look. Again, I like the outside and then break back inside. Sam Laporta had one of the biggest third down conversions against them in this game. They brought the blitz, sat down in front of the depth, broke back outside. He has the kind of the dig route that he picked up first down on. I think we'll show that play here in a second. And then Washington, one of their little scheme beaters they started to utilize, which I really liked against this off coverage, was sitting the receiver down in front of the flat route, because, again, they're giving up the flat route, basically. They're just letting you chase that. But sitting down in front of the cornerbacks on a lot of these cover 3 looks and just hitching right underneath. I really like that little thing that Washington did. They did it a few times. They didn't go to it every time. And then, of course, here, cover 6, Jamel Dean. Like I said, top of the routes where you can get him. Or that's not even Jamel Dean. I'm sorry. That's Christian Izien. If Christian Izien's playing out wide, expect the Lions to try to go at that a little bit. You can see the deep out there. You got the rookie in the slot. All right, let's show a couple of plays from the Lions against them last season, and then we'll kind of move on from this because we're about done with all these plays. Just showing some different looks. Back to the outside zone stuff here. So, again, you can reach block on Vita Vea. Watch here. You see Frank Ragnow reach block on top. They kick inside like we talked about what we're going to do. They kick inside. Graham Glasgow creates a wall. He walls it up. Penei Sewell picks the linebacker. And because you're able to reach block, now you can get up to that second level. They're going to tackle well, but if you're getting up to second level, picking up 4 to 5 yards, you're going to feel good about that. Here in the passing game, you can see what they gave up to us. You can see Goff with the St. Brown one-on-one here with Jamel Dean. It was incomplete. It was covered pretty well, but what they give up is right here with their linebackers. They're not going to run well in space on those. They're going to give those routes up, especially if they're matching coverage like this, and they're going to carry into the verticals like this. They're going to give up the flats and stuff like that all day long. It's just about finding matchup pieces. Sam Laporta hasn't had like the biggest games against this team because Levante David covers well. They usually don't give us a very great matchup one-on-one with Sam Laporta, but it is a great potential matchup for St. Brown just because of what J-Mo did last week. Like, you have a really good opportunity for him to have a big week. Again, it's another outside zone, and it's not the exact same thing, but it's very similar, right? Frank Ragnow reached the block, Penny Sewell to the linebacker. I think actually that was the exact same play. I had 2 plays in here, but I think I showed the same play twice. That's unfortunate. Didn't mean to do that. I think this might be the last one. And then, like I said, slide protection, right? Slide protection is going to be crucial. Slide to Vita Vea. You don't want the inside penetration. What do? You slide protection. Watch this. Slide it. Slide it. Now, look at them handle this stunt. This was pretty good here. Jonah Jackson a little bit late. But that leaves Diaby one-on-one. That's the challenge. If we handle the one-on-ones, you'll be fine. If you don't, you could get into trouble, and that slide protection might not be as great as it seems like it could be on paper, and leaving that pocket for Goff. And then here was like that play that I said we were going to show. The play that was awesome last year. Went for 9 yards. It should have went for a touchdown pretty much. But again, counter run play. Everybody's filling aggressively. They're going to struggle to scrape back out of that. But then here's what you use, right? Backside crashing down. You pull Penei Sewell. And as he crashes down into his gap, you just run right around him. You get up to the second level. You pick up the corner, pick up a big play. Those edge rushers are aggressive to kind of kick inside, just like we may be in this game. So the Lions counter to that was, hey, you want to dive down, get flat like you're doing? Great. We're just going to work around you. We're not even going to worry about trying to block you. We're just going to go around you because they're so aggressive to kick inside, to jump inside gaps, do those kind of things. And then in the pass game, I think we have one more clip here. One of the little adjustments I liked is one thing the Lions do well is they did a good job of creating levels against this team, where they would create like 3 route concepts. And on a play like this, right, defense goes Tampa 2. Lions want to get their play action shots. They made it difficult. Linebackers are getting good depth here. So all they did was settle down St. Brown, and they simply just created like a little hole route here where it's like, hey, we're going to run the deep post, and you're going to take that with your linebacker. But if you do, this is open. So you just kind of create like a easy path for Jared Goff. Obviously, you had your flat as well. You'll see a lot of checkdowns on play action sets today, I'm sure, because of how much depth they're going to play with. This is what they did well, though. Oh, this was the beautiful throw, right? Outside, again, use Gibbs in the passing game. Use Gibbs in the passing game. You see, that's Devin White. He's not even there anymore, right? They're going to have to ask guys like Britt to chase Jahmyr Gibbs on these routes. So you break him out, and then you break back in. That was on Carlton Davis. And this one wasn't covered poorly, but it was a beautiful throw. They bring the outside blitz. They drop out the interior. So you're dropping out defense tackle. So the middle of the field, no shot there. Goff reads it well. Bam. Deep dig routes completed. We've been really good with Goff versus the blitz. You just wonder how that's going to look in week 2, right? Because it is a little bit different. It's so early in the season. And then again, this is what they did well. Watch White here. Look at the depth he plays with. This is cover 3. Look at where he's at on the field. He's taking away the middle of the field. They want to take away the middle of the field. So what the Lions had to do was use out routes, put those linebackers in that action, but also then you have to overload. Here they don't blitz. The Lions use a 3-man concept to overload it, right? They run this little curl route underneath to pull this backer out of the play. You run St. Brown to pull the linebacker depth. And then look at Laporta. You see the depth that he's getting at here? You see how he flat lines this thing? He gets flat as soon as he gets behind his own defender right here. Boom, flat. And he sticks it and he gets underneath. Now you have the open window for Goff to throw into on a 2nd and like 8 here. That's what the Lions did well last year, was doing those kind of concepts to take advantage of, oh, you want to get depth? That's great. Here, you want to blitz again? We get to the red zone. We'll do the same thing you do. We'll run a running back screen, and that one picks up some positive yardage. And then, I wish this is the last play. I wish this one wouldn't have cut off, but this was the cool touchdown the Lions had. I think defensively they went into their 2-man look, but similarly like what we would do, their linebacker will pass to the safety, so they utilize St. Brown to just pass it off to the safety. And once he got to the safety, they then ran Josh Reynolds on this post route right behind him. So now the safety's down. Obviously, he's on the backside, and Josh Reynolds was wide open in the back of the end zone. That was just a nice scheme beater. You may see a lot of that again in this one. Back of the end zone, maybe where we have to go. So that's what I'm looking at for the opposite side of the ball. Again, I wish I would have had more of the tendency stuff saved here. I just lost it, so unfortunately, that's where we're at. Tampa Bay secondary banged up. Air attack. It's banged up, but it's not bad. Like, their staple of their defense to me is their linebacker depth in zone. That's not banged up. Now, their cornerback play, a little bit banged up, but not really, right? Zion McCollum's going to start. He's their starter. So is Jamel Dean. He's their starter. So is I don't know. Is Tyke Smith? If Tyke Smith's playing, he's now their starter in the slot. Or Christian Izien, even if he has to start. Christian Izien was their starter last year in the slot. So that's still intact. The only guy that's really depending on Tyke Smith and depending on McCollum, because both are questionable. If those guys play, the only one would be Antoine Winfield. And against this team, I don't think the safety matchup is the biggest problem for us, is like, what safeties do they have? Jordan Whitehead's going to lurk. He's going to be the guy playing downhill. He'll be more involved than anybody. But that being said, if you guys remember the big J-Mo touchdown we had, it was the Lions. They changed up their tempo. They got up to the line quickly and took the snap, and they threw off the tempo. The defense wasn't expecting it. That's how J-Mo got over top when we got that deep corner route, just because we changed up a little wrinkle into what we were doing every time we got to the line to get him over top. So that may be a chance to open up something like that, especially with all the cover 3 looks, is that you can get vertical with one of the post corners, something like that, against one of these young safeties and put them into kind of a tough spot. But cornerback play-wise, I think they're in still a good spot. I think we'll see a lot of things similar to last year. If we can find a run game, we'll completely change the game, because last year, week 1, we didn't find a run game. So just find a little bit of a run game in this one. But Tampa Bay secondary, depending on what those questions look like, could be a little bit more banged up. I think we could find a run game, though, in this one. I'm positive about that. And we'll get on to the final graphic that I have here before we go to our weekly picks. I need a ring light. I actually have a ring light. I have a ring light. I just don't use it over here because my camera doesn't hold it. Like, I got an actual camera, so it doesn't hold it. But I do have a ring light. If y'all want the ring light, we can start bringing the ring light in. But shout out to Robert Stacy building the building. Shout out to Ken dropping the injury report. Fortunately, I don't think you can click on that, but if you can, maybe you can copy paste that thing. We want to get an interception. I want $1. hey, yo, I saw this. I saw this driving home from the Michigan game. Bro, facts. Okay, I see you. All right, here's my players to watch. I don't love this list. I feel like I left a couple players out here that I should put on. Chat, let me know. Players to watch. Give me your players to watch. Here are mine. I say Jamison Williams, and reason I don't say St. Brown, because I think St. Brown has a bigger game today than Jamison Williams, is because I think the way they play J-Mo could open up St. Brown. I'm very curious to see how that matchup kind of shakes up based on what he did last week and what he's done in the past to them, and the vertical threat of how it can open up Amon-Ra St. Brown. But J-Mo on the drags, the crossers could be effective. Would love to see Tim Patrick get some looks there as well. But I'm going to go J-Mo again in this week just because he's had success against this team. Taylor Decker, for the simple reason of Yaya Diaby 101, and you can put Penei Sewell here. Them getting that one-on-one, that's their matchup piece. So how do those guys handle one-on-one situations if you're sliding protection? Jahmyr Gibbs, get him in the pass game. He opened up a run game last year. Everything outside of Vita Vea could be successful. Jack Campbell, big in zone coverage. Their play action shots on early downs, especially if the lines are in zone and not in man. How does Jack Campbell handle those? Jack Campbell's depth, where is he getting at on the field? So I'm looking at Jack Campbell specifically for this one to kind of force the checkdowns, make them live underneath. Because again, on second down, they're going to want to get underneath, right? Second down is going to be a run play. It's going to be a screen. They don't take a lot of shots on second and medium. So if you force them underneath on first down, second down is going to be those little things to stay on top of the chains. So where's Jack Campbell at? Is he forcing check downs? And then finally, Terran Arnold, just because of the man-to-man, I think he's going to be thrown in the mix so much in this game by this offense. I think they're going to go at him, and we'll have to see how he responds. On to the Bucs side, Rachaad White. Right after catch is great. He's a big pass game target in the screen game, but also all the cutback runs. He's really good. He's one of the best playmakers. Jalen McMillan, because of all the shot plays. I spelled his name wrong, maybe. No, it actually looks okay. All the shot plays are going to create the wheels, the post routes, everything outside, third and long. They're going to take the Mike Evans and Chris Godwin to get the attention and say he's going to get the one-on-one, and they'll try to utilize him on a lot of big downs, got to have it downs. I like us some man coverage there, but against zone, they're going to try to find beaters for him. Tristan Wirfs, I want to see how Tristan Wirfs performs in the run game. I think that's kind of up for grabs, depending on how good he is. Could really impact how effective their run game actually is in this game. Plus, he's probably going to see Pascal and Levi in this one if Davenport can't go. Levante David. We saw it. I think he's slow to scrape. I think both their linebackers are, but he tackles well, and in coverage, he's the guy that's going to be really emphasized on. He's getting depth in coverage, those kind of guys. And finally, Tyke Smith. Chat, let me just keep this as simple. If Tyke Smith starts in the slot, that is the matchup to go at for Amon-Ra St. Brown. If he sees St. Brown, that's the guy you go at. Because Tyke Smith against St. Brown on paper is one of the biggest benefits that we have against this back end. He's a rookie, but he's their starter. But on paper, that's the guy you want to go at. It's just like how Tampa Bay may go at Terrion. You're going at a third or fourth round pick in Tyke Smith with Amon-Ra St. Brown. That is the matchup that you want to go at in this game. So those are my players to watch. I think Sam Laporta's got an interesting case to be on here too, just because we'll have to see if we can get going a little bit. Watch out for McNeil, Branch, and Laporta. Oh, man, I love you some Brian Branch. I feel like I should never not put Brian Branch on here. Graham Glasgow, Washington had a lot of success on left side A-gap runs. We did see a lot of those. I like the Graham Glasgow one, especially. We'll have to see if he's pulling on this one. I don't know how much we'll actually pull offensive linemen in this one. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, any of those offensive linemen I think can win. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at any of those. Inactives have come out. All right, let's move to inactives, and then we'll get to my score prediction, and then we'll get on to our weekly picks. Let's go to inactives, though. Let's see who's actually playing. Let's see how banged up they really is, and then we'll get to those. All right. Here we go. Share that. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Hold up. Boom. They got to make this thing bigger. It's fine. Here's the inactives. What do they got here? Ify Melifonwu, that one we knew. Rakestraw's inactive. Okay, that's interesting. He wasn't on the injury report. That's interesting. Trevor's inactive, healthy. Giovanni, healthy scratch. Colby Sorstel. It's an interesting one, too. They're going with Dan Skipper. Isaiah Williams, that's an injury. And then Marcus Davenport was doubtful. That's an injury. So the only one there that's kind of interesting is the Rakestraw one to me. Not having Rakestraw active is kind of weird for depth. It's kind of weird. I don't know about that one. I don't know. Did something pop up? That one feels strange. I mean, they have Lauren Strickland back, so Strickland's active. Houston is also active. Yep, that's a good point. So Lauren Strickland and James Houston. So they're going with a little bit more safety depth. Having James Houston for Marcus Davenport potentially pass, and because Baker will take off. So this is a good week to have him. That's an interesting one. Interesting. I would have liked to have more cornerback depth there just in case, but okay. And plus, maybe they're saying, hey, if we have to put another rookie out there, they're going to throw out the rookie. Let's go with a veteran. So let's go with Khalil Dorsey or Kendall Vilder. We'd rather go with the vet than a young guy against such a veteran group that's going to just play outside the numbers on us. Let's go with the veteran that's kind of been there before. Maybe that's the mindset behind that, but also just having a little more safety depth here with Strickland. And yes, DJ Reader is back. DJ Reader is back, which is fire. He's going to be massive today, bro. He's going to be massive. Because here's the thing with Reader. It's his agility in a game like this. It's DJ Reader moving laterally against all these zone runs, right? If they double team him, yes, I expect DJ to be key there, and he's going to have to handle those. But it's the agility he has to get over blocks. He's a really strong player. He obviously can get after it and pass rush. So if we're just bringing a four-man rush, I think he can win against these guys on the interior because I think their weaknesses are guard to center. But it's the zone blocking. It's his ability to, on the backside, to get over blocks. He's going to be crucial for the zone rushing attack. I think the Lions will do well there. I think also they're going to do well running the football, and I think that's going to help them a lot in this game. Another pressure on Mayfield, and Brian Branch may have the day. May have the day, man. If we're solid on the outside, right, we can kind of force things back inside. Lions may do that with two deep safety looks, but again, it's going to start with stopping the run. So we'll have to see. I mean, do they go like cover 2 and stuff? I don't know. Tampa 2, right? Because that's what Washington did to stop kind of taking away the smash route. They're like, dude, you go over in the middle of the field. No more of this smash stuff. We're going to go Tampa 2. So do the Lions go out, play cover 4, play cover 6 like last year, or do they simplify it? More man-to-man coverage, more cover 3. If anything, it's going to be outside the numbers. If you're going to get Baker to throw an interception, he's going to throw it over the middle of the field. How do I know? Look at last year. I mean, I knew coming into that game Baker was prone to throw a pick. He threw the interception. Not his fault. It was off Mike Evans' hands on a dig route. Ball gets tipped in the air. CD Deuce picks it off. That's where they usually happen. They're going to happen over the middle of the field for him because he's going to rip it into traffic. On top of that, Mike Evans is the dig route threat of this team. So a lot of times that's where we go. And Mike Evans will drop some passes randomly for some reason. He's awesome, but he'll drop some like easy passes for some reason. Okay. With that, let's go to the final kind of graphic here, which, I already showed it. It was on my players to watch. Okay, chat, put your predictions in the... I didn't even know it was on there. Put your predictions in the comment section, man. I'm going Lions 28, Bucks 20 in this one. I feel like I'm a little bit high on the score. I like our ability to run. I feel like I'm a little bit high on us getting 28. I struggle to believe that we will score 28 points. I can see this easily being like a 20. I think my initial prediction was 21-18 Lions. I could see it being more in that realm. But I'm confident. I think our offense is going to be better this week, and I really like our run game, man. So I'm confident that they'll just have a little bit more in the tank offensively than my initial 21-18. Maybe I'm a little bit overhyped. Maybe that's what it is. I'm a little bit overhyped for this one. But I think we're going to have a run game, and I think it could get going early. So I'm going 28 there. The Bucks, on the other side, 20 points I think is reasonable. I think their offense is better than what it was last year. I think they could get out to a really hot start against us, which will be the challenge. 20 feels a little bit low, so maybe like 28, 23. But at the same time, if they throw an interception, this prediction would make a ton of sense if we can get one takeaway in this game. If we can get one thing to slide our direction, kind of give us an extra possession, that may be the difference in this one. Lions funneled Rams to Alex. Lions funneled runs to Alex against the Rams. Do they do it again? I think Alex was just really big in that game because of how it was going to set up because of the run scheme. I don't think that Alex will have the same game he did last week. I don't think he will. I think this will be really important for guys like Jack Campbell because of all the strong side runs. I think Campbell will be really important at the point of attack here. Is he getting off blocks? But look, both of them. Like here's the thing, Bo. I think both of them are going to be crucial. You know what I mean? Because you have to be able to handle cutback lanes. And if Alex is on the weak side of all these runs, he's going to have to be that guy in that spot. He's going to have to be the guy scraping downhill. He's going to have to get into it. So I think Jack's going to be really important in this one. If Derek Barnes plays linebacker, getting downhill, handling blocks. If Melk Rodriguez gets in there, he's built for this. I think all linebackers are crucial. All linebackers are crucial for this game, Bo. So I'm with you in the sense of like against the run game, I'm circling linebackers because I like our D line. I like how we're going to match up there. To me, it's about all the off-ball linebackers. How'd you do on my week 1 pick'em? I don't know, honestly, Ken. I don't know. We didn't check. I know this. My week 1 without the spread was trash. I was 500. I was 8-8. But I'm 1-0 this week. We got Miami right, so I'm feeling good. Look, I told the people I'm going 16-0 this week. You know what I mean? Like we're setting the bar high. I'm confident. I'm gonna get every pick right this week. And it started with Miami. Okay, let's turn that off. It started with Miami getting smacked. My prediction was 70-13, so it wasn't that crazy, but it was. What's that? By the way, hopefully Tua was okay. But anyways, we want to know. You know what I mean? I think we're going 16-0 this week. To be honest with you. And right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move over to my last graphic, which is my week 2 pick'em for the NFC North teams. This is being brought to you by BetUS. So again, make sure you use that promo code in the description, YouTube 150. You can get a 150% deposit match on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with BetUS. We'll check out their website in a second, but before we do that, I first want to show you what I'm looking like for my pick'ems this week in the NFC North. Again, being brought to you by BetUS for this one. So let me. Oh boy, I'm clicking the wrong buttons. The struggle is real here. Here we go. Let's take a look. This graphic is very creative too. A lot of cool designs going on here. So you guys are welcome. I put a lot of time into this one. Week 2 pick'em. Here we go. First off, Colts over Packers. Why is this a 1-point spread? I mean, like, I'm looking at this. I'm like, why is this 1-point spread? Colts are going to trounce the Packers this week. Maybe I'm a hater. I don't see that being the case. I got Colts easy in this one. I think that's one of the easiest picks. That and the Rams pick, to me, are my favorites of the week. But yeah, Colts -1 over Packers, easy money. It kind of scares me that it's so tight. Like, they believe this thing's going to be close. I don't think it will be. I got Colts handling business in this one. Vikings over Niners. I'm not just taking the points. I'm taking the Vikings to win outright. They're getting 5 points. When I put this graph together by BetUS, I think the Vikings beat San Fran at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I think they go to 2-0. I think that's one of the upsets of the week. So I got them, not only handling, hey, I got 5 points, but I also got them winning this game against San Fran. That's my second pick. And finally, I think the Bears cover the 6-point spread against the Texans. The Bears have been given 6 points for what I have today against the Texans. I don't think they beat the Texans, but I think they keep it closer than 6 points in this one. 6 feels like a lot. I like the way that they're built to play this team. CJ usually has a lot of success against teams that play a lot of cover 3, which Chicago does, but I think their personnel is just much better than what they saw in Indy in that back end. I think the Bears keep this one close. I don't think they win, but I think they keep it closer than 6 points. So really, you can play the money line with the Vikings. The other two for me straight up is, well, I mean, again, Colts are going to beat the Packers, but they'll beat them by more than 1 point. And then, yeah, I got the Bears keeping it close but not winning. Can the Vikings and 49ers just tie? I'd be down with that too. I'm not mad at a little tie. A little tie, actually. I ain't mad at that. Field goal special in Houston. Definitely could be. Vikings beat 49ers. I got Vikings over Niners. That's my 2 upset picks this week. We'll show it over here. Let me show you on the screen what my 2 upset picks are. And if y'all don't see these, man, you got to check me out, man. Thursday, noon Eastern. If you guys can, you can also watch the replays. If you go to anybody's team at noon Eastern, you can also, or after the show, you can also see our predictions for each week. But we're over here on BetUS, man. Again, use that promo code YouTube150, 150% deposit match on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Better than this offer right here. You see all the options we have. And if we go to NFL lines for this week, here are the upsets that I like, chat. I like the Vikings. I'm a little bit nervous, but I like the Vikings. The spread's getting too low, and I like the Falcons over the Eagles. That's my other upset pick. I think Atlanta beats the Eagles this week. I think they have a bounce back week. I think Atlanta's last week was not great, but it was also like the perfect week to have people get off the Atlanta train, even all the people that liked them coming into the year. I think this week they bounce back and get back to the team that we expect. I think they beat Philadelphia. They're due to throw some interceptions, and Atlanta's got the safeties to do it. They're going to have to take away a couple in that one. Those are the 2 upsets I like. What else do we have here? Chat, I'm just going to run through my picks this week. So money line wise, I got the Ravens over the Raiders. Though I think this game is super interesting. If the Raiders had any kind of offense, I would have took this upset. They just don't, so I don't trust it. So I wouldn't even take the spread here because I just don't think they'll score enough points. I got Chargers over Panthers. 5 points feels kind of crazy. I got Dallas over Saints, of course. I do like the Saints found a run game last week. That could be their, that could be what they have to have this week. But I do think overall the Cowboys are just a better team, and being at home, it's going to be tricky. But Derek Carr looked awesome, and that offense line did work. It's just now you have to go against Micah Parsons, which is a different animal. Talk of the Vikings' demise. May they have a bit premature. Sam the Man Darnold, man. I mean, I'm still not a believer that they're going to be that good, but I got to put it this week. I may have been too low on them, then no doubt. May have been too low. This spread is getting out of hand. A 9-point spread is kind of insane. If I was the betting guy, I mean, I get they're going where the bets are being thrown in, which is probably a lot of people betting Lions. I would not have thrown a 9-point spread the Lions' way. I think that's too much. Maybe 5, maybe 5. I think 9 is too much. I get we're at home, but it just feels like way too much in this one. We beat them by 8 and 14 last year, so I guess I get it. I don't know. That just feels like too much. Like I said, this is the easiest one. Just bet the Colts, bro. I don't even understand why this is a thing. Is Anthony Richardson not playing? What is this? I don't understand. Browns, Jags. I got the Jags in this one. I don't love that one. I don't feel super confident. The over-under is 41. Nobody's going to score in that game, they feel like. But Jags' defense is pretty good last week, so I'm going to roll with the Jags because they played well. Obviously, like I said, I got Vikings. Seattle Patriots, I took Seattle, even though Patriots did their thing. I've usually a guy that bets New England, but I'm going to take Seattle. Jets, Titans, I like the Jets this week. They're favored by 4. It's a little bit weird there. Okay, I'm surprised. Giants, Washington. I got the Giants this week, and they're at +1, so that's technically an upset pick. The over-under is higher than some of these other games. It's kind of surprising. I got the Giants still winning this one. That one's basically a pick 'em. This one is a pick 'em, which is ridiculous. I don't understand this one either. Rams are beating this team. I get the injuries. Doesn't matter. Rams are going to beat the Cardinals. I like the Cardinals, but they're going to beat the Cardinals this week. Cincinnati, Kansas City. I took Kansas City. Don't have much concerns about that one. The 6-point spread. Pittsburgh, Denver. I think I took Pittsburgh this week. They're favored by 2. I think I slept on Pittsburgh. I definitely slept on Pittsburgh last week. And then Chicago, Houston. Like I said, I think Chicago keeps it close, but I think Houston wins. And then I got Atlanta with the upset. So those are my picks for the week. What's the dog game of the day? You mean like the underdog or like the game not to watch? The underdog for me of today, I think the underdog in general is this one. I think Atlanta over Philly is the underdog. But to me, it's Minnesota over the Vikings. Or it would be the Giants. Bucks performed week 1. They did. They played pretty well week 1, man. They had some good answers. Lions underperformed. Bucks too many injuries. Lions covered 9.5. Man, it'd be amazing. I hope they do. I don't have the confidence they will. I respect Tampa, bro. I think they're too well oiled to go get smacked. But it'd be beautiful. Casey, I'm with it. Hey, I hope you're right, Casey. Pick 'em. Detroit Beer League, get in, not too late. All right, I'll get in there. Chat, throw your score predictions for today. I think you already did it, but do it again, man. Before we wrap this thing up, again, shout out to BetUS, man. Make sure you use that promo code YouTube150. Get 150% deposit match on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000, and you can get in on all the action, right? You have the football, basketball, ice hockey. I threw a bet on the WNBA. I got a bet on the WNBA right now, so, throw some bets in. Sportsbook, live betting, you make an account. You can even just make an account without depositing. You just make an account. You can see the live betting odds move as the game goes on. Casino games, always worth checking that out. And then, BetUS TV, which is pretty cool, too. Get some content over there. They like to promote this a lot, so if you just want some extra content, there you go, man. I've been on there before, so if I'm on there again, I'll let y'all know. Lions will solve third quarter doldrums. I think so. I'm optimistic about that. I'd be optimistic about that. I think they'll be good. They'll be good. It'll be like a full game long thing if they do. I think Tampa gets off to a nice little start offensively. Unless we get a negative early, then they'll just throw everything off for them. But I think we also get off well offensively, and I think we run the ball well. I got the over when it was 48. Lions 7 points. Laporta scoring first TD. Lions 29-13. Oh my gosh. Okay. Over when it was 48. Lions with 7 points. Oh, you got it at 7. Okay. And Laporta scoring the first TD. I'm not mad at any of those, man. Laporta back in the end zone. Is that what we're thinking? I have the Eagles plucking those Falcons. Man. And you're probably right. I hope you're not right. Not to watch. Wait, did I miss something? 30-24. My man PC Payload's in the building. PC, good to see you, man. He got us by 6. 35-17. So they try to pick on him, and he picks it off. I like that. Ooh, see what I did there? Pick on him, and then he picks it off. Stop. That wasn't that cool. Okay. Hey, man, I think we hit on everything. I appreciate y'all joining me for this preview. That was a lot. Apologize there wasn't a preview video. It just didn't happen this week, man. I'm gonna get back to it next week. It just didn't happen this week. But we may be starting some new stuff this week that I'm gonna let y'all know about. I don't want to confirm it, but this week we may be starting like doing content in like a new show. There may be a new show starting this week, potentially with some cool interviews coming. I don't know what those will be, but some cool interviews. And we'll have like a recap show / preview show that's like an hour, but like cut into two, which is like 30 minutes each. And those will come shortly, like maybe on a Monday. We might drop both of those. It'll be different than what I normally do, where it's like this full breakdown thing like today. But it'll be like an early look potentially at the next game, but also like an early reaction to the last game. Again, not the same breakdown format, but kind of just an early look at both sides, or an early reaction. And that may be a new show that's coming starting this week. It's kind of in the works. It'll also be like a podcast format as well, so you'll be able to just listen to it. That way, I don't have to throw the clips on the screen, because if I did, if you weren't watching it, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. It'll be in podcast format, so it'll be definitely audio focused, and that way, you know, if you're on the road or whatever, you could just listen to it, and then bam, there you go. So that's potentially starting this next week. You know, that's been something that, you know, we've had some chats about in the back end about getting something like that going. So we'll see. But I'm aiming for this week. You're in as Lions. You 14-3, Ken? Dang, hey, Ken should be on the Bleacher Report show. What up? Hey, Ken, out here cooking. All right, man. Hey, but stay tuned for that, man. I'll keep you all updated. Game at 1 p.m. Eastern time, man. Be back here. We're going to be live over here reacting to that game on this channel at 1 p.m. Eastern time, man. We'll start that live stream. And then, of course, after the game, Bleacher Report will be live for our post-game reaction. I think we hit on everything. Hopefully, I see y'all there, and I'll see you guys then, 1 p.m. Eastern time, man. Thank you guys for joining, and enjoy your football Sunday.